demon time. Caitlin's on demon time, bro. Oh, yes, she is. She's coming for blood. She's coming for blood. I don't know if the Fever is going to win another damn game without Caitlin Clark.
Started the second half, Sophie Cunningham on the bench. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Stephanie White just got fired after Caitlin Clark stormed out furious over the Indiana Fever's humiliating loss. The defense was a disaster, surrendering 42 points off turnovers and second chances.
Sophie Cunningham was the only player trying hard. The only player giving effort, play in and play out.
And in peak White fashion, she benched Sophie Cunningham, the only player actually keeping the team alive.
The storyline of tonight's game, even though we lost, I don't want everybody holding their head down. No, we lost. We have to talk about Sophie Cunningham getting that ball.
All right, let's just start with the visual that's burned into my brain. Caitlin Clark stomping out of the Phoenix Arena. She's got that shiner under her eye, that dead serious try me expression, and honestly, I swear if she had a sword in her hand, the WNBA would have had to issue a league-wide warning. This wasn't casual frustration. This was the type of rage where you start plotting plays in your head just to humiliate whoever dared cross you.
And all other people that has been saying, and verbatimly saying, that the Indiana Fever is better without Caitlin Clark, I need y'all to look in the mirror and please let me know if you feel that same way after seeing this tonight.
And of course, this fiery exit comes right after the Fever managed to produce their magnum opus of failure, a 95-60 loss. Yes, you heard me, 95-60. That's their worst loss of the season, and trust me, this team already has a scrapbook full of ugly defeats. This one even beats that 77-58 loss to the Dream and the 80-61 embarrassment against the Valkyrie. The Fever didn't just lose, they made losing look like an art form.
We lost to the Valkyrie earlier in the season, 80-61, and tonight, against the Phoenix Mercury, we lose 95-60.
And let's not pretend this was some close contest that slipped away. The body language was low energy from the jump. You could practically see the fight leave them after the first quarter, like they just collectively agreed, yeah, we're done here. Meanwhile, on the other side, Alyssa Thomas is out there rewriting the WNBA record book, becoming the first player in league history to record 3 straight triple-doubles. 3 straight triple-doubles. While Dana Bonner, who clearly didn't get the memo that the Fever weren't going to play defense, casually drops 23 points on 7 of 16 shooting. It was like Phoenix was hosting a skills showcase and Indiana volunteered to be the props.
Tawana Bonner just got done doing your team absolutely dirty. You guys escape with a victory when they come to Indiana, and you wipe your hands of it like it's all over and finished with. No, it goes both ways.
Fans are looking at this and asking the obvious question, can this team win another game without Clark? And the general consensus seems to be, no. People are literally saying the Fever rolled over and died before halftime, which is generous because some might argue they never stood up in the first place. This wasn't just a bad night, this was a crime scene. And then there's Sophie Cunningham. Oh, Sophie. Back in her old home arena, she's the one person who actually seemed to understand what this game meant. She drops 18 points, hitting 6 of 9 from the field, including 5 of 8 from deep.
Last game, when Sophie Cunningham wasn't getting the ball, guess what happened when they passed Sophie Cunningham the ball? She scored 18 damn points in 26 minutes.
She adds 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and here's the kicker. She's the only Fever player who managed to shoot over 50% for the night, and she didn't just put up numbers. She played with an edge. She's jawing with Alyssa Thomas, getting into it with Dana Bonner, even mixing it up with Kalia Copper. She was in full warrior mode.
The most embarrassing loss of the season for the Indiana Fever.
Despite being the only hot hand, she gets benched to start the second half. And for who? Lexi Hull. The same Lexi Hull who went 0 for 8 from 3, 0 for 8. You've got one player hitting 62.5% from deep and another hitting 0%, and you pick the 0% shooter to start? That's galaxy brain coaching right there. Post-game, Sophie tries to be polite about it.
I mean, it sucks, right? You don't ever want to see anyone be injured on any team. I feel like there's been a lot of injuries this year in the W, harsh ones, I think. And, it's just another one. And Sid is still the heartbeat of our team. She's going to be okay.
Says she's way happier in Indiana and talks about how the team's used to battling injuries and just needs to stack the days, which is professional athlete code for, I have no idea why my coach made that decision, but I'm not getting fined over it. Phoenix fans actually gave her a warm reception, cheered her return, and her own teammates basically left her for dead in a game that should have been all about getting her that win.
I think we faced some adversity with some injuries this game. But you know what? We're used to that. We've had that at the beginning of the year. This is just another hump that we're going to get over, and we're gonna be okay.
Meanwhile, let's talk about the disappearing act from the rest of the so-called key players. Aaliyah Boston, who should be dominating inside, finishes with just 4 points in 26 minutes, hitting only 1 of 6 from the field. And these weren't tough contested fadeaways. While we're talking about close looks, baby hooks, shots within arm's reach of the basket, she got bullied inside by Thomas, Bonner, and Natasha Mack like she was a rookie fresh off a rec league.
Aaliyah Boston, 4 points in 26 minutes, 1 for 6 from the field. We're talking about baby hooks. We're talking about gimmies with around 3 feet of the basket.
Then we've got Kelsey Mitchell. Now, I've defended Kelsey before, but this game, absolutely not. She puts up 12 points on 4 of 17 shooting, goes 1 of 6 from 3, misses multiple free throws, turns the ball over 5 times, and posts a hideous 39 plus minus. That's not just a bad game. That's delete the footage and pretend it didn't happen bad.
You guys. Well, I think it affects emotionally because nobody wants to see a teammate go down like that. But also, on the floor, that's another point guard, a primary ball handler. Someone who is a big part of our rotation on both ends of the floor. And so
Tasha Howard barely plays, just 18 minutes, before she's effectively benched once the game spirals out of control. The bench? Basically invisible. Ari McDonald has 4 points and 3 assists in limited minutes. Michaela Timpson actually makes an immediate impact when she comes in. 5 points and 2 boards in just 10 minutes. But for some reason, she's barely used. And then there's Chloe Beebe and the rest, who contribute next to nothing offensively. You could have replaced half this roster with cardboard cutouts and gotten the same result.
This game meant just as much to Sophie Cunningham as it did to the Indiana Fever when DeWanna Bonner made her return. The only difference is nobody on the Indiana Fever had Sophie Cunningham's back.
And the shooting numbers? Oh boy. The Fever as a team shoot 34% from the field. That's already bad. From 3, they go 7 of 30, which is 23%. And from the free throw line? A truly embarrassing 53% on just 13 attempts. It's one thing to miss shots from deep. That happens. But missing nearly half your free throws? That's just not caring. Those are free points. They're literally called free throws.
You don't care. You literally left your teammate hung out to dry tonight.
This wasn't just a loss. It was a total collapse of execution, effort, and honestly, common sense. Clark's out, Sophie's cooking, and instead of riding the only productive player they had, the Fever decide to rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic. You can't make this stuff up. This is how you end up with your star player storming out looking like she's about to personally dismantle the opposing team in the next matchup. And honestly, after watching this, I hope she does.
Gotta talk about the hometown hero. Sophie Cunningham, 18 points. 5 assists, shooting 66% from the field.
Let's just start with the fact that Phoenix grabbed 44 rebounds while the Fever managed only 32, and this is with Indiana having the tallest player on the court. That's like showing up to a buffet as the hungriest person in the room and somehow leaving hungry because you couldn't be bothered to get in line. You've got height, you've got size, but apparently you've also got an aversion to basic boxing out, and it wasn't just the rebounding. They handed the Mercury 42 points from turnovers and second chance opportunities. That's nearly half of Phoenix's total score coming from Indiana either giving the ball away or failing to grab a rebound. You could have replaced the Fever's post players with a couple of traffic cones and honestly gotten the same defensive result.
You know what? You didn't have your team ready tonight. From a mental standpoint, from a game plan does anybody do you guys practice? Do you guys watch film? I don't understand.
And this wasn't some fluke stat. This was the product of 22 turnovers against only 12 assists. That's not just bad, that's, are you even trying to pass to your own team? Bad. The ball movement was non-existent. Constant giveaways, lazy passes, no structure, just chaos. At times, it felt like the Fever's offensive strategy was to throw the ball at the nearest person wearing a different jersey.
I need somebody to make that make sense for me. 12 assists as a team. 22 total turnovers. 12 assists and 22 turnovers.
The scoring breakdown tells the same story. First quarter, 16 points. Second quarter, 20 points. Third quarter, 11 points. Fourth quarter, 13 points. That's not a scoring chart. That's a slow descent into a coma. And this isn't the first time this team's put up sub-15-point quarters. No, this is a pattern. This is their thing now. You see those numbers and you don't think bad night, you think, ah yes, Tuesday.
I can't with these losses. I mean, tonight loss was ridiculous, guys. I mean, just downright ignorant. This was a downright ignorant loss.
Now let's talk about the Stephanie White coaching masterclass. And by masterclass, I mean how to turn a dumpster fire into a forest fire. She plays Kelsey Mitchell the entire fourth quarter of a game they're losing by over 30, while Sophie Cunningham, the only productive shooter all night, is glued to the bench. That's like keeping your working engine in the garage while you take your broken-down moped on a cross-country trip.
Started the second half, Sophie Cunningham on the bench. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And then there's the decision to start the second half without Sophie, instead rolling with Lexi Hull, who couldn't buy a bucket if she had Jeff Bezos' bank account. We're talking 0 for 8 from 3. 0, 4, 8. Meanwhile, Sophie's hitting over 60% from deep, but apparently logic and basketball sense decided to take the night off.
DeWanna Bonner scores over 20 points. Sophie Cunningham making her return to Phoenix, and it seems as if nobody on our team other than Sophie Cunningham felt any type of emotional connection to this game.
There were no visible offensive adjustments. None. Boston had lit Phoenix up in the past, and instead of going back to that well, they run a pointless run-and-gun offense without Caitlin Clark, the one player who could actually make that style work. It's like deciding to drive in a Formula One race in a minivan because you once saw someone else do it successfully in a Ferrari. On the court, players looked disengaged. This wasn't a case of being overmatched talent-wise. It was an attitude problem.
Sid, who else? Who else was hurt? Sophie was hurt. This looked like June again.
A lack of urgency, a lack of fight, a lack of anything resembling pride in the jersey. And with Caitlin Clark's return on the horizon, the pressure is only going to mount. Because once she's back, there's no hiding behind the "we're short-handed" excuse. If this level of coaching and preparation continues, the microscope is going to be firmly on White, and the questions about her future won't just be coming from fans. They'll be coming from the people who sign her checks.
Look like the Indiana Fever could be signing another player. Basically, another hardship player could be on the way. Sydney Colson hurt. Argument down to hurt. Now we got to see who's available again at the point guard position. Again, we got
this loss to Phoenix wasn't just bad. It wasn't even just embarrassing. It was the full package, a glaring neon-lit example of everything wrong right now. From the lack of defensive fundamentals to the baffling in-game decisions, from the absence of accountability to the visible disengagement of the roster, this was the kind of game that forces uncomfortable conversations in boardrooms. And if those conversations haven't started yet, they will. Because when your only reliable player on the night is sitting on the bench while you hand your opponent 42 free points from your own mistakes, you've stopped losing basketball games. You've started giving them away. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep uncovering the stories they don't want you to hear.